I think that that's something interesting for you as well, considering that you want to be dealing with the narrative itself
Yeah.
as like someone that wants to do films. So like that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
you're focusing on the implicit stuff.
Well, so and I forget his first name, but
Hmm.
Campbell. I don't know how you want to pronounce that. Um, you were talking about him a while ago.
Hmm.
Maybe Bruce Campbell.
Which guy is this?
This is the guy that created the hero's journey. So if you just look up Campbell hero's journey, you'll
I'll
see
look
what
it
I'm
up.
talking about. But basically, it's this big circle, and he figured out how stories are constructed in such that one, it's a good story to tell and to listen to.
It's Joseph Campbell.
Joseph Campbell, yes. Um, and that arc, if you have the arc in front of you, if you want to read each step, because
Um,
I can't quite remember them all.
yeah, so I'll go through it quick
Yeah.
because there's couple steps.
Hmm.
There's the call to adventure,
Yep.
supernatural aid,
Hmm.
threshold or the beginning of transformation,
Hmm.
challenges and temptations.
Hmm.
There's an abyss where there's death and rebirth,
Yep.
transformation, atonement, and then return.
So, and to like nerd out real quick, I think this is exactly why I like animes,
Mm,
is because that circle happens numerous times.
yeah, yeah.
And it's very enjoyable because um, the supernatural doesn't always necessarily have to be supernatural, but so much as like supernatural feeling.
Hmm.
It's basically referencing a mentor.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how many stories, and I mean, shows, books, movies, it doesn't matter. So how many stories, fictionally speaking, have this mentor that really guides this character?
Hmm.
And the mentor's got this wicked amount of wisdom. And or me or anybody as a creator of a story, you really have to put thought into that.
Hmm.
What's the limitations of your world? Where does your world exist? You need to set these boundaries and so forth, especially in a very fictional world, such as the ones in anime, right? Or even like Star Wars. Yoda is that supernatural thing. He is the mentor to
Right.
Luke.
Hmm.
When Luke goes to Dagobah and he trains with Yoda and stuff, he gets to the breaking point, the threshold. And a lot of people see that as when he goes into the tree and he sees himself as Darth Vader.
Hmm.
That's his breaking point. That's when he's like, "Nope, I'm done. I'm out of here." And that's that turn away or turn to fight,
Hmm.
fight or flight response, which is something we all relate to. And I don't want to spend too much time, but each point of that story, that it's a big arc, each point there is very relatable for us.
Hmm.
And most importantly, it's something that we all strive to do.
Yeah.
We all strive to be learning from the things that are around us, to be broken so we can be reborn and to be better,
Hmm.
so that we can continue the cycle. And to be able to create that in a narrative, to create that in a story, is just really thrilling because, man, you can break a character. And that's the best story. I mean, think of what Jordan Peterson said, to tie this back to Jordan Peterson. Jesus Christ and his story was
Hmm.
the ultimate tragedy.
Right. Yeah.
And if you look at the story, the hero's journey, Jesus Christ's life, relatively speaking, follows that. His
Sure.
supernatural mentor is God himself.
Mm.
That's who that is. And if you look at all these breaking points and stuff, I mean, you can talk about the 40 days and 40 nights in the desert,
Hmm.
right? That's a huge example. And you can talk about and look about all these different things. But ultimately, when he died for our sins, it's the ultimate tragedy because everybody around him, that community, turned their back on him.
Hmm.
And that's another breaking point for him. That's the abyss,
Right.
as a reference to the story, the hero's journey. Um, that abyss, that's it. And it sucks, and it's a great tragedy, as
Right.
JP talks about, because it really just is a broken character. It's a character that gave everything and
Hmm.
had nothing less to give than perfection and love and caring, and his own people smited him essentially.
Yeah.
And to be able to create stories even close to the story of Jesus Christ, even
Hmm.
stories just that are that gravitating,
Hmm.
is, I feel like it's a privilege just to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, I think something that interests me, and I don't know if there's a definitive answer on it, at least that either of us would have,
Hmm.
is why it seems like so many animes focus on that. You know, isn't
It,
that interesting?
yeah, I mean it's really interesting, but I mean think about where anime's coming from. Japan.
Right. Well, that's what I mean.
Well,
It's like
look at Honda and Toyota.
mm,
Their
just a
autos.
culture thing that they focus
Yeah.
on
Well,
improvement.
I'm not, I don't know a whole lot about Japanese culture, but I'll tell you this. The automobiles that they produce, the motorcycles they produce, they're near perfection. People can't beat them because they have such a small margin
Mm,
of error. So, as a storyteller in Japan, if your entire culture focuses around like this tiny, tiny, tiny margin of error, how could you not want to write the perfect story, the
right.
perfect captivating story that could be looped until forever? I mean, the anime I'm watching now, Bleach, has 26 seasons,
Right.
and people love it. It was a rave. It was on Cartoon Network and everything. It's huge, and Hulu is now revamping it again
Right.
because it's already such a great story.
Hmm.
And I that's exactly
Yeah.
why I
I
would
think the
get the
fact
main.
that it's still so popular and that a lot of those stories are so popular is that we have a innate recognition that that's one of the best things to do or go
Hmm.
through, or we at least we understand the importance of doing it.
Yeah.
Obviously, people turn themselves away from it a lot,
Hmm.
but I mean, you can see like the Israelites when they left Egypt.
Hmm.
That's their hero's journey, where they're going to the desert and they have all their difficulties and stuff in there. And I mean, it's I think it's echoed throughout the Bible because
Yeah.
it's just such an important concept to existence.
Oh yeah, absolutely.